Welcome to my 14-day SAT prep series. Today is day 11 in the 14-day SAT prep series, and if you're following it, then yesterday you completed SAT practice test 9. So what today is designated for is it's designated for you to review that practice test. So let's go ahead and cover what it means to review your practice test and how you can get the most out of your practice test to improve on the SAT. So first thing you want to do is you're going to want to score it. Obviously, that's the major part here. You want to score it. You can use the College Board's app if you took it paper pencil. If you took it online, then it's obviously going to score it for you, but you're going to want to score it. So that's the first thing. That way you know which questions you got wrong, which ones you got wrong, or which ones you got wrong and which ones you got right. Next thing, for each section, so that's going to be the math no calculator, the math with calculator, the reading and the writing. Go to every question that you got wrong or were unsure of. If there are any questions that you got right but you weren't certain on the answer and you just kind of guessed, go to those ones too. And then before looking at the answer explanation, so before you look at how to get to the correct answer, try to figure it out on your own. Okay, try to figure out what the correct answer was and why that correct answer is correct and why you got it wrong. The reason you want to do this is because it's going to help you remember that process to get to the correct answer better than if you just go and look it up. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is first try to come up with what the correct answer is and why. So that way you can figure out the correct process on your own. It's going to help you remember it better. Now, after that, you're going to want to check it with the answer explanations. So say you spend some time and you can't figure out how to do it on your own. Obviously, eventually you're going to have to check it with the answer explanations. But if you can figure it out on your own, that's going to help you a lot because it'll help you remember it better than if you just look at the answer explanation. But once you figure it out on your own, or if you still haven't figured it out, go check it with the answer explanations. So you can find those by looking up Practice Test 9 SAT Answer Explanations. It'll be a PDF thing. You can pull it up, run through your answer explanations. That'll tell you how to do the problems or why the correct answer is correct, why the wrong answers are wrong. Then, after that, in your workbook, if you've been using a workbook, or if you want to just use your notebook, if you've only been using a notebook, if you do have two separate books, use the workbook here. If not, just use your notebook. Write the question that you got wrong. That's the first step. So we're going to break down what to do in parts I through VI. So 1 through 7 here for part A. First thing you're going to do, write the question that you got wrong. So write it out. Handwriting is what I would recommend, just because studies have shown that it helps you remember it better. At least that's what my teachers tell me. I don't know if it's true or not, but they're probably telling the truth. So yeah, write the question you got wrong, preferably handwritten. Write what the answer that you chose was. Okay, so if that answer is obviously going to be wrong since you got the question wrong, so write the answer you chose. Write what the correct answer is after that. Write why you got the answer wrong. So you can write down your thought process. Maybe you got the answer wrong because you forgot to subtract 2, or if you forgot to pay attention to the end of a math question and you didn't add 2 to x when it asked for the value of x plus 2 or something like that. But write why you got the answer wrong. Okay, write why your answer is wrong. Those two are pretty similar there. And then write why the correct answer is correct and how to get there. So you want to fully write out how to get to the correct answer and why that correct answer is correct. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to write down how you're going to approach the question next time to make sure you get to that correct answer. So for example, if it was a math question and you forgot to add 2 at the end because the question at the end said what is the value of x plus 2 and you forgot to add 2 to x, then maybe write down I'm going to box what I'm asked to answer with on every single math question. Okay, by doing that, you're going to make sure that you're answering with the correct number and answer there. All right, so next thing you're going to want to do, after you've gone through all of those questions you've gotten wrong, wrote what the wrong answer was, what the correct answer was, why you got it wrong, why the correct answer is correct, and how to get there, and how you're going to approach it next time to get to the correct answer, what you're going to want to do is you want to look for patterns in the questions that you got wrong and correct. Okay, so where are you strong and where are you weak? So identify areas that you're weak. That way you can work on them before you take the SAT and you can improve. Identify areas where you're strong. If you know that you're really strong on the writing section, then probably spend some more time on the math section. If you know you're strong in the math section but weak in the writing section, spend more time on the writing section. Okay, so identify where you're weak and strong. Also look at question types. Let's say that maybe you're really weak at finding evidence. Go work on finding evidence then. Let's say that maybe you're really strong at algebra, but you're not very strong in geometry. Okay, then go work on geometry and leave the algebra alone for a little bit. Okay, so identify where you're strong, where you're weak. Okay, write these in your notebook, or if you're using a journal, which that's for the 90-day one, and even in the 90-day one, we didn't really talk about that. So write it in your notebook. All right, so next thing you want to do, talk about or cover your pacing in your notebook, right? So let's talk about pacing. Obviously, you went through the SAT. It was right around 3 hours for the practice test. You want to talk about your pacing because pacing is really important on the SAT. You want to write in your notebook, once again, we can get rid of journal there. Write in your notebook how your pacing was for each section, okay? So how was it on the writing section, reading section, math with calculator, and math without calculator? How'd you do? And write how you're going to pace better next time, right? You can always pace better. Hopefully you followed the pacing strategies I recommended. If you didn't and you struggled, go take a look at those. Those were in day 7, I believe, is the day I covered. I spent about the first half hour of that lesson covering pacing for each section. So hopefully you followed that. If you did, I would certainly hope that it went well for you. If not, go back, look at the first half an hour, kind of get a better look at it, and understand how I recommend pacing and how is your pacing, how can you improve it next time, right? Which questions took you too long, right? That's another thing. Say you got a question right, but it took you 5 minutes on the math section. That's too long. You got to get to the correct answer quicker. So in that situation, one thing I'd recommend, obviously you're going to want to find a quicker way to do it. One way that you can do that is you could take a look at one source you could use there would be the answer explanations that the College Board has for practice test 9. You can look at those and see if their explanation shows you a faster way. It might not, because oftentimes or sometimes with the answer explanations, I find that there's faster ways to do it than what the answer explanation says. So if you don't see it there, one thing you could do, I do have a few videos. I don't know if I have one for practice test 9 or not. I'll put text here that says if I do or don't, so you'll see it on your screen. But I might have a video where I go through practice test 9 in under 35 minutes, and that would probably show you the fast way for the math with calculator section as far as how to get to your correct answers. I have answer explanation videos out also for the writing section and the reading section of practice test 9, so you can use those as well. So like I said, reading section, writing section for practice test 9, I got videos out for both of those, so you can use those to figure out how to get your answer quicker. And then, like I said, you'll see it pop up on the right side of your screen here. Okay, after that, you're going to want to cover the overall thoughts on your performance. Okay, so what are some positives, what are some negatives, and how are you going to improve? Okay, so write things that went well, write the things that went poorly, and then write how you're going to improve on the things that went poorly. So how are you going to improve on things that went poorly? Okay, so write about how you're going to improve, write about things that you want to change in the future in order to do better, and all of that. So that's basically how you're going to break down, or that is how you're going to break down your practice test to get the most out of it. Okay, that's how I broke down my practice test, and believe me, I took a lot of practice tests. I've taken lots and lots of practice tests before I scored 1590 on the SAT. But in this case, this is going to be the best way that you're going to break down your practice test to get the best results out of it. Make sure you're improving the best, not making the same mistakes twice. This is how you're really going to take a big jump, hopefully, in your SAT. So make sure you actually take the time to do this. That's really, really important, especially considering you took 3 hours to do it yesterday. You want to make sure that that 3 hours of taking this practice test was worth it by doing a proper review of it. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. As always, have a great day. Any private SAT tutoring I'm doing, private college admissions consulting I'm doing, or private college essay proofreading and advice that I'm giving will be linked in the description. My donation link will also be linked in the description. If you'd like to donate to me, I'd really appreciate it. So as always, make sure to have a great day, and thank you for watching.